You want me to send those all to you? Okay, legal.
All right, so we have a couple things going on, one of which is, we have a house that has, the building inspector notified me that the house that he's inspected has a dangerous condition inside. The last time he inspected it, and the owner won't let him come back and do another inspection. So, but we have reason to believe that there's people living in the area that he determined to be unsafe. So what I'd like to do is have the board authorize me to, the remedy of that is to go to Supreme Court and get an order from a judge, basically that either the house has to be vacated or that area of the house has to be vacated, can't be used for habitation. So it's a serious, he's determined it to be a serious issue. It has to do with egress, basically, which is serious.
Okay.
So anything to do with egress is a serious matter. So what I'd like to do is, if I could, please, to get the authorization from the board to go to the Supreme Court in this matter and get an order, try to get an order from a judge to prevent the habitation of the house. I'll try to keep the, you know, I've done this before, so the papers, I'm not doing this from scratch. You know, so I'll try to keep it as efficient, money-wise for the village as I can. You know, it's not gonna, should cost maybe a few $1,000s or something like that.
So are we going to try to recap the legal fees?
Right, so now, because this has to do with violations that were issued, we will be asking the court for an assessment of costs, or putting the cost on the tax bill. You know, if we don't get, on the person's tax bill, if we don't get compensated.
Okay.
The next thing I have is, we have a couple cases coming up that will either be trials or will likely be trials. I don't feel that I don't feel that this is a proper form for a trial. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I asked to have the judge consider moving the form of the trial. I just don't think a trial can set up here properly, but the judge, and I respect any decision the judge makes. The judge said that he wanted to have trials here, which is fine. I'll accommodate that the best I can. But the one thing that I would like to ask the court, if it's okay with the board, is to ask to have a stenographer here, because the system that we have in place, I don't know if it's reliable enough for a trial. You know, for a trial, we really need to have every word taken or available, you know. So I was, if I could, with your permission, if we have a trial, I'd like to, with the judge's permission, the judge would have to approve that, but I'm going to ask him and see what he says about that. But if the board doesn't have a problem, I'd like to be able to do that. And I think that was it. Does anybody have any questions for me about anything that's going on? I'm doing a lot of support work for for the clerk and the different boards. There's a lot of things going on a daily basis that I help out with.
Anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else before we adjourn? Okay, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Okay. Okay. Start the public hearing? So this is a motion to open a public hearing for local law 50, unsafe buildings and structures. The only thing that changed in this law is the order in which we remedy a situation. So the board, who used to be the first step and announce the person's name and address and what the issue was, will now be the final step if all other items have been exhausted. So would anyone like to speak to this public hearing? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Second. Call the meeting to order, 7:05. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcements, Village Hall will be closed on May 28th, and that week garbage pickup instead of Monday will be on Tuesday and Thursday. Frank, public safety report.
The last 4 weeks, we had 7 requests for assistance. One was a medical emergency, a burglar alarm, 2 separate reports of suspicious people, 1 neighbor dispute. We had 5 parking warnings issued, 7 parking summonses, completed 5 house checks, and we've to date had 37 special parking requests. Just want to remind residents 2 things, that this is about the time of year where we see residents and contractors draining pools into the street and the drains. Just remind them that that is illegal. Also, at the end of this month, vehicles that are parked in our parks that have expired residence permits, this is according with the parking policy that the board approved in 2015. They may be subject to a summons if they have an expired permit. May.
Wait for Ron to come back.
I didn't see it, the last one that was open.
So Ron, when you're ready, we'll take your report.
I have to apologize, I've been away for a few weeks, so I didn't get to do as thorough an updating of my numbers the way I like to see them. However, in reviewing the numbers that were handed to me tonight, the only significant thing that's kind of running off is the snow, which we've talked about before. The snow billings for March, for the work that was done in March, storms, was a little over 13,000, and there is still the early April billings that we haven't received yet. At this point, we're about 7,000 to 8,000 over the budget for the year for snow, and looking to be probably about 10,000. That excess will have to come out of the snow fund balance that was the reserve from prior years. That is, once we do that, we will be left with about, instead of 10% of the next year's expenditures as a fund balance, will be probably down to about 8%. So that's just kind of a quick update, and I'll have a much better feel for it next month.
Thank you.
Yes?
Other comments?
I just wanted to ask if there, you have a projected deficit for the year?
You have to stand up, say your name,
Cindy
address.
Davis, Bertram Avenue. Is there a projected deficit for this year?
Probably about 57,000,
So now we're up.
from 47, which we had thought about last time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other public comments?
John Hom, Chestnut Avenue. I see in here you have a resolution to go to outside of the village for election inspectors.
Mhm.
I was wondering why you're doing that?
Because right now, the inspectors that have asked to be inspectors live in the village, but if something should happen and no one steps forward, we want to have the option to go outside the village.
Okay, now, I volunteered, and I believe Steve Weisenberg also volunteered. We haven't heard anything back from the village.
We didn't approve, it's for June to be approved.
Oh, okay, I
Okay,
didn't
okay.
realize that. Okay,
Okay,
thank
I'm
you.
sorry that you didn't hear back.
Okay, thanks.
I didn't hear from Steve either, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but we already filled the other 2 spots. Yeah, okay.
Steve never got hold of me.
Any other questions?
I see that Felicia Chilak, Washington Street, I see there's a resolution to award the contract on the dock bid. How do we award a contract? How do the trustees get to vote on something they don't know what it's really gonna cost? Because you
No, it's
stated
going to
earlier.
cost $256,000.
No, but the interest rate on the bond, you stated earlier, you didn't know what it was gonna be, so there's a difference there.
We're not approving the bond at this point, or what the cost is gonna be to the residents, but we're approving what the cost is to build the dock. And that's necessary to apply to find out what the bond rate's gonna be.
Okay. So, does the, whatever their name is, Brandt, you're gonna sign an actual contract with them, but you're gonna stipulate that if we don't get a bond approval, then we don't have a contract with them?
No, I'm not gonna sign any contract with them. They've been approved, and once we get
Okay.
the financing and we approve the financing,
Do you
then we'll
have-
enter into a
okay.
contract with
Do
them.
you have an idea of how much it's gonna cost, the
No,
interest rate?
I just told you earlier, we're working with the bank and with the bond company to come up with our different options. Once we have that, the board has to make a decision of which option
Okay,
they'll
but do
pick.
we have a ballpark? I'm sure the bank gave you a ballpark.
No, they didn't. They're
They
waiting
didn't.
for all our
Okay.
finances, they're waiting for everything to come in.
I'm just asking.
Cindy?
I'd like to ask the individual trustees, with a $57,000 deficit, do you think it's fiscally responsible to take in over $250,000 debt on the village at this point? Mr. Pukas, would you say that would be
Is that a
fiscally-
comment?
I'm asking Mr. Pukas if he thinks that's fiscally responsible.
Focus.
Pukas, I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's the long term, what we're looking at, what it's going to do for the village,
Well, what would that be?
as far as giving the community something else to enjoy down by the water, increasing the value of the properties.
Would you do that in your personal? I'm just wondering, you know,
You don't
it's
have to do
very
that.
You have
nice.
to answer this.
Well, I would like to ask each trustee, is it fiscally responsible to take over $250,000 in debt for a luxury that we don't need? And really, a survey was done that quasi-approved. So I'm just saying, you're gonna put this kind of debt on the village for what? We can't even meet our budget now, and we're going to take over that much money and put it on the village? Jeff talked last month about how nice it would be for us older people to bring grandchildren to the dock. As an older person, I'd like to know that my taxes are not gonna skyrocket because of this dock, not whether I take grandchildren down there. So I'm asking, Mr. Rick, do you think it's
My
fiscally?
position on that, we were at the hearing, and my position is I think it should go to a vote. Maybe it should be something put on the ballot in the next
Yes.
election. I think that it's too much, it's too big of a expense for the board to make a decision on. The village is paying for it, and the residents pay for it, let them decide.
Mr. Schleider?
If they like it, they go ahead with it. If they don't want it, they don't want it.
I think the dock is something that would be wonderful long-term.
Is
I
it fiscally
I understand
responsible?
the responsibility is something that we have to look at over a course of 5, 7, 10 years based on the bond.
Would
So
you
for
do that to
me,
yourself in your personal finances?
again, it's not about,
We're not debating this now.
They don't
You
No, I
need to
just
make
want
a
to know
comment
your,
or ask a question.
I think the board should vote fiscally responsibly for the whole village, not for a certain few who want this pushed through.
Okay, Keep your comment. Any other comments? Yeah, Ron?
Ron Cable, 10 Maple Avenue. I'd like to reiterate what Mr. Richardson said. There should definitely be a referendum about this. The survey was not done with any kind of objectivity, and there should be a referendum to decide if we should have a dock. Also, I'd like to mention on Route 25A, the northern, I believe it's 381 Main Street, there's a bunch of branches there.
I've seen that too.
If you want to walk along there, you got to go out in 25A.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see, I guess it's state property, but if public safety could talk to the residents and see if they could bundle it up so they can get rid of it, so you can walk on the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's
It's
been there
it's
for-
a hazard there. You have to go on 25A, which is taking life in your hands when you do that. That's it.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just want to say I support what the other two people said. There should be a referendum vote on whether we want the dock or not.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I
Okay. Oh, you have something to read, right?
have the written. This was sent in an email from Susan Laskowski. I would appreciate it if this email would be read in a public comment. I am urging the village government to abandon further plans and consideration for building a village dock. Since the bids for the cost of building the dock have come in from 59% to 350% higher than the proposed $150,000, it is time to question the competence and judgment of the engineering company that made the initial proposal. It would be reasonable to conclude that the estimates for the maintenance and insurance costs are also severely underestimated, and that this project is beyond the capacity of a responsible budget. There's been the battle cry of the dock supporters that a dock would improve property values. I submit that property values are improved when the needs of the many rather than the interests of the few are the focus of our government. roads that are broken down, look bad, and don't impede the runoff of unwanted materials into the harbor, reduce property values. A community that doesn't value its trees by having a rational plan for tree evaluation, health and maintenance reduces property values. It would be irresponsible and unconscionable to persist in imposing unnecessary luxury expenditures on residents and to operate with a small amount of emergency money building the dock imposes on the budget. Spending any more money, time, and energy on consideration of a dock would be foolish. Please put those resources into use for projects that serve the entire community. Respectfully submitted, Susan Laskowski.
Gary?
Gary Garofano, 14 Highview Avenue. I don't think we're all gonna come to an agreement here, but just personally, I think it would come out to be a pretty good long-term investment having the dock here. I think 10 years from now, we'll look back and we'll kind of all agree that it'll bring an intrinsic value to the total, what am I looking for? The total value of the village will be uplifted. I think everything can be done here. I think the roads and the trees and the landscaping and the dock, I think they'll all come together finally, maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now. It'll totally improve. Well, you can laugh and smirk and all you want, but I think 10, 15 years from now, it'll bring up the whole level. You know, with the high tide raises all boats. It'll bring up the whole level and the whole way the whole village will look. I think it will give it a good value to all the homeowners in the village. That's what I have to say.
Okay.
Oh, Deirdre Cronin, 4 Silver Beach Court. I think, if I'm reading it right, I haven't seen it earlier today, sorry. I think we're within 4% of the budget for ending the year. And I
We're
think
not
that's,
finished yet. We have a few more weeks.
right, but it seems like a reasonable ending to a year. Some year you're a little over, some year a little, it's a single number, 4. As a resident, I think that's okay and not irresponsible, so thank you for the work that you've done.
Okay, any other comments? All right, let's start the resolutions. 05-218-1, resolution adopting May 10th, 2018 agenda as printed. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries.
Resolution 05-2018-2, resolution accepting the monthly reports for May 10th, 2018. So moved.
Second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Resolution 05-2018-3, resolution adopting the minutes of April 12th, 2018 work session of the meeting of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution 05-2018-4, resolution adopting the minutes from April 12, 2018 business session of the meeting of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. You want me to table this one?
I have a, my suggestion is that, there's a legal reason why,
Okay.
that with regard to 5, that you table this until the time that you approve the financing,
Okay.
the night that you approve it.
Resolution
So I would vote, so
Okay.
the motion is a motion to table,
05-2018-5.
Yes.
I have a motion to table resolution awarding the contract to Village Community Dock to Brent Marina in the amount of $256,571 and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Table. The table, correct?
To table, to table.
Good.
Resolution number 05-2018-6, resolution adopting the SECRA resolution for local law
We don't know what it is, so it's just local law.
of 2018, Chapter 50, unsafe building and structures. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
This is I'm gonna catch you right before the vote, I'm sorry. The resolution is to determine, this board is adopting lead agency status for purposes of secret.
Oh.
You're determining that the adoption of this local law is an unlisted action for purposes of secret, and that it will not have a significant negative impact on the environment, and therefore you're adopting what's called a negative declaration for purposes of secret.
So what exactly, I just wanted to clarify as far as voting on that. When is this, when will this, are we adopting and putting this into effect, this law that was?
Well, that's the next, so
That's the
this,
public hearing we just had.
This vote is just the determining that it will not have a significant negative impact on the environment. That's my recommendation, you know, it's subject to your discussion and vote. And then the next resolution would be a vote on actually putting the law into effect. But this one just clears the.
Did you
the-
read
Right, this just clears
I
that.
didn't get through
It's
all
not
of
gonna
it.
be a problem.
I'm gonna say no, because I
Environmental.
don't have enough information, and just as far as even speaking with constituents, I just wanna say no on that. Because I'm just,
You can vote no.
that's fine, I just wanna I need to know thoroughly what we're going through.
Yes, so moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Motion carries.
Resolution 05-2018-7, resolution adopting local law of 2018, Chapter 50, unsafe building and structures. So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Resolution 2018-5, resolution to schedule the Village of Poquott Board of Trustees meetings as follows to be held at Village Hall, a work session 1 hour before each Board of Trustees meeting, regular session June 7, 2018 at 7 p.m. and June 28, 2018 at 7 p.m. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Resolution 05-2018-9, resolution approving the mayor to sign a new contract with the Village Water Company, Kolodowski LLP for 2018-2019. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Resolution number 05-2018-10, resolution awarding a contract for village tree trimming to Arbor Vista Tree Care in the amount of $9,000 and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. So moved.
1 second, could I just say something? You said you had a tree, is he aware of that on that contract?
No, but,
We can add that in?
yeah.
Okay, just to clarify, it's this
Question.
way, it's not,
Excuse me, sir.
oh, just to make sure it's not clear, no, so this way he knows what he's bidding on, and it's not a problem. Okay.
So this is, I just asked that what they submitted was a proposal, it's not a contract. I
Okay.
just asked that I do the form contract
For it.
and for Arbor Vista, that's what we're up to.
Mhm.
Okay. And that we attach their proposal to the contract, so that, because there's language in the contract that I'm sure is not in the proposal.
Okay.
Please.
I think they also sent over COI, so you have that in place already too.
Good.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
So we need a second?
But,
All in favor?
alright.
Motion carries.
Resolution 05-2018-11, resolution directing Clerk Newfield to schedule village tree trimming for 2018 season. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolution 5-2018-12, resolution to allow election inspectors who reside outside the village as per Suffolk County Board of Elections list. So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 5-2018-13, resolution authorizing
Oh, sorry, she's only been once.
the village to start a Supreme Court action against Debbie Stevens. So moved.
Second? That's what we just talked about,
Right.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Nay.
Okay, Jody, want to do the clerk of the check?
Just, I'm gonna ask the board to add a resolution to approve the stenographer. Can we
Okay.
just do that as 15 at the end?
Sure.
Thanks. With the judge's permission.
Okay, here we go. House payable statement. 37 vouchers, $31,862.94. March 31st. One credit card bill, $3.80. 11 bills to be approved as of April 26th. Capello, Middleton, and McCormick, legal representatives, $337.30. Cannon Financial, May copier, $149 even. 4D Landscaping, April, 2 of 10, $18.50.70. Buick Insurance Fund, that's that credit debit thing with, I don't know what we keep carrying it, but we do. Quickway Sanitation, the April bill, $7,061.12. Suzie Fuel Oil Company, $129 service contract. Times Beacon Record, budget notice and ZBA hearings, $3,300.07. Verizon Wireless, codes phone, $61.57. 11 bills totaling $9,828.17. 13 bills to be approved, May 3rd. Axe Creatives, $107.99, backup on computers. Paul Ellison Village Justice, $250. Flynn's stenography and transcription, court reporting, $657.55. We have insurance fund again, that's a silly credit thing. Optimum bill, $94.90. Joseph Poquott LLC, $1,093.75. Quickway Sanitation, snow removal. By the way, this is the April bill. 842. Ron.
I see it.
11/4 for March. 1610 for snow removal for 2. Total $13,010. So we should be done with, except for I got a $200 bill from Town of Cable for sand today. Just came in. April bookkeeping, $481.25. Triad Telecom, $129.19. Wellsback Electric, light repairs, Silver Beach Court, $1,312.50 total. 13 bills, $17,076.54. May 10, 12 bills. Ace Hardware, $69.21, that's for mortar for the replacement. Thousand block. Big Can Cleaning Service, $374.97. 4D Landscaping for May, $1850.70. Nelson Pope and Voorhees, Community Dock, $1,970 even. State Insurance Fund. BSE&G, Street Lighting, $337.12. BSE&G Coal Rental, $1243. Wex Bank, gasoline for public safety, $218.82. Total for the 12 bills, $4,772.66. Now a motion.
Motion to approve all checks per the voucher. So moved. All in favor? Resolution 05-2018-15, resolution approving,
A resolution approving course stenographer for trials and hearings at the village justice court with the permission of the village justice.
second. All in favor?
Who's first on that? And second.
Motion to adjourn?
Somebody?
Second.
First.
Everyone wants to go home.